Welcome, age of vintage society. Hollywood can be a demanding place to be, but Rita Moreno showed that she had what it took, and more, to be a Hollywood star. She resisted all attempts to box her into a corner and became the best of the best. Did Rita Moreno regret aborting Marlon Brando's child? Make sure to watch the video until the end and leave your thoughts in the comments. If you are new here, join our wonderful community by subscribing to the Age of Vintage channel. Typecasting and stereotyping, two peas in a Hollywood pod. It doesn't matter if an actor had talent or not. You know, for being a place that hosts and displays the collective creativity of humanity, Hollywood can be quite restrictive. Ironic, isn't it? Creativity means breaking boundaries, yet Hollywood can be resistant to change. You have to be stubborn not to allow Hollywood to shoehorn you into a place, and this was what made Rita Moreno stand out. The woman said no more and took a break from Hollywood for 7 years to break the stereotypical roles Hollywood always offered her. Moreno is as tough as she is graceful, and through her resilience she opened, no, kicked down the gates of Hollywood for other people of Hispanic descent. Thanking her, the director of the documentary about Moreno said, "Her many victories in the face of prejudice are an inspiration to me. Hopefully this film will give strength to the women all over the world who today face a similar fight towards equality." Not that there weren't Hispanic stars before Rita came along. There were, but to attain stardom they denied an essential part of themselves, their origin. Does Rita Hayworth ring a bell? We are certain it would ring 2 bells. Rita is Hispanic, with her birth name being Margarita Cancino. Rita was given an English name. This was how she could escape the typecast of ethnic roles. Choosing a name wasn't all the studio did to her. They curled and dyed her hair from its jet black colour to auburn. For Moreno, her hair was her pride, and she wouldn't be dyeing it. As you may have guessed, her journey wasn't easy, and certainly her off-the-screen dramas didn't help. At one of the peaks of her tumultuous love life, she tried to end it, it being her life. Yes, Rita Moreno, the tough woman, tried to take her own life. This was just a part of what she went through at the hands of Marlon Brando. "He was the lust of my life," the delectable Moreno said of Marlon in a People magazine interview in 2017. The actress still had the photo of Marlon in her bedroom, saying Marlon was a big love of hers, love and lust. Mind you, Moreno moved on and married another man, Leonard Gordon, in 1965, and the pair remained together till Leonard died. Although she called Leonard the love of her life, on the scale of love, the love she had for Marlon may be heavier. Because why she would keep the picture of the man who broke her in different ways in her bedroom? Her reason seems plausible, or does it? She said she kept the picture because it looked like a vignette out of a movie. A vignette? If you say so, Moreno. Moreno also said ultimately it was exciting to be with Marlon. The two actors met in 1954 on the set of Desiree, a biopic. What happened when sexy Rita placed her eyes on Marlon and his on her was magic. Sparks only the two could see flying in the air. Oh my God, it was exciting, Moreno said. However, the naive Rita didn't know that Marlon usually felt those sparks with other women every other day. Marlon was a bad boy, and it didn't take long for Rita to find out, but she didn't regret the instant attraction she felt for the hunky Godfather star just yet. After all, she spent 8 years with him. You see, Marlon wasn't exactly subtle about his proclivities, and Marlon couldn't help himself. It was one lady after the next, Rita noted. He always had a woman on his arm, women in his life all over the place. Rita soon realized she wasn't as special as she thought. No doubt she was Marlon's type, as the actor loved being with Latinas, but this couldn't keep the Godfather star's penis in his pants. He had 2 children with 2 different women while still dating Moreno. He would lie to Moreno and she would find him out in his lies. The problem was the fact that Moreno could find him out in his lies powered his infidelity even more. It was almost as if he was determined to break Rita's will. Brando never felt remorse for the lies he told, and according to Rita, he had this slimy grin he had at the ready she caught him in his lies. But Rita didn't leave. She was still early in her career when she met Brando and hadn't that toughness yet. She, as she described herself, was a doormat, and she forgave the Godfather actor. Brando took advantage of that to do more acts that needed forgiveness, stepping all over Rita as he pleased. But at some point Rita had too much strange lingerie that wasn't hers, and she took off. Anger flowed in her veins and tears down her face. Her career was filled with one stereotypical role to another, and her love life wasn't giving her peace either. She decided to be done with Brando, or was she? After crying her eyes out, she got a call. A certain colonel had called her. The caller went straight to the point. He said, "This is Colonel Parker. My client is Elvis Presley, and Elvis spotted you at the 20th Century Fox commissary, and he liked what he saw." While her face was puffy and dry from tears, her anger had grown to fury. The images of the lingerie she found in her imagination of how the extraordinary Brando would take it off boiled her blood to the point of fury, and in that range she didn't give it much thought. She went on to date Elvis. But as she described Marlon as a man, extraordinary in many ways, so did she describe Elvis as sweet but boring. Sorry, Elvis fans. Elvis was a whole different gravy for the sexy star, and she preferred her gravy witty and funny. Those two features brought out a primal and passionate side of her, and according to Moreno, Elvis was lacking in those two areas. It would seem that she wasn't Elvis's gravy as well as she said. Elvis seemed to show more passion eating a peanut butter, banana and bacon sandwich than towards her. Truth be told, she wasn't dating Elvis from a place of love and affection. She was with the hip-thrusting megastar to get a reaction from the man she loved with all her heart, and she did. Brando was furious, and he tossed furniture about. His doormat was about to be taken from him, and he didn't like that. He begged, and Rita came trotting back to him. If she had known that it would cost her, she would have happily avoided the Godfather star. Rosa Dolores Alverio Marcano, or Rita Moreno as we know and love her, was born December 11th, 1931, in Humacao, Puerto Rico, to a farmer father and a seamstress mother. Rita's mother left her father, leaving her son and taking her daughter to New York. She remarried, and her daughter took her stepfather's surname, Moreno. Hollywood called Moreno when she was a young girl. At a young age her mother enrolled her to get dancing lessons, and Rita Hayworth's uncle, Paco, was her earliest dancing teacher. He was also the one who added to young Rita's passion for being an actress. When Rita saw her first film, she knew what she wanted to do, but when she performed her first dance with Paco, dressed in a Spanish dance dress, she fully decided to be an actress. She was 6 around the time she had her dance with Paco and entertaining the nightclub visitors in which they performed. The audience's reception was glorious, a feeling that stayed with and powered the sexy star's ambition. The actress continued to train, and her fame began to rise. When she turned 16, she had already gotten entertainment work that allowed her to take care of her family. The delectable actress began to repay her mother for the years she spent working at a sweatshop, so Rita could have dancing lessons. Moreno's mother was supportive of her daughter's passion for entertainment, that when it was time to push her daughter's career forward, she went with her to Hollywood. Their going to Hollywood was due to a talent scout discovering Rita. The scout arranged a meeting between MGM and 16-year-old Rita. In a rare event, studio boss Louis B. Mayer came for the meeting. "My God," Mayer said as he saw Moreno, "she's a Spanish Elizabeth Taylor." And so Rita got a 7-year contract, and her path to stardom began. Rita was excited to meet her American look-alike on her first day at the studio, and for someone who scraped by with her mum, she saw a variety of goods she had never seen before. However, Rita's excitement would be repeatedly tested, and the test first began with her first role, The Toast of New Orleans. It was a toast to her typecast. Her next series of films, Pagan Love Song in 1950 and Singin' in the Rain in 1952, continued the trend. Still, despite the typecast, her talent showed, especially in Singing in the Rain. However, this was not enough to keep her job with MGM. They let her go, and Fox was waiting to snap her up. But her situation didn't change. The roles were the same. She continued to play either foreigners or Native Americans. The studio continued to use makeup to achieve the darker skin tone that the actress needed for her roles. She hated this, but she had an obedient personality. She always did what she was told and was a pushover. She admitted to feeling powerless and weak and blamed her childhood for how easily she bent whenever the wind of authority blew. "I was one of those young women who was afraid to say no because that was how I was brought up," she said. It was her soft personality and her inability to say no that allowed her agent to take advantage of her sexually, and also gave the handsome Marlon Brando the confidence to cheat on her continuously. The two would break up and make up in the 8 years they were together. After a break and make up, the incredible Rita got pregnant. In her relationship with Brando, he had impregnated other women, so she was excited. She was pregnant for someone she loved. What could possibly go wrong? Everything went wrong. To my shock and horror, Marlon immediately arranged for an abortion, the actress recalled in an interview. Brando didn't want the sexy actress to be pregnant. Her getting pregnant wasn't part of his plan for her, and he insisted she abort the baby. As usual, Rita agreed. She didn't even put up a fight. Anything for her darling Brando. The leading man arranged the abortion, but there was a twist. The abortion was improperly done. The fetus remained in Moreno, and she required surgery to remove it. The procedure was successful, and rather than show love to Moreno, the Godfather actor cursed the person that botched the initial abortion. At this point, mentally, the actress was in a dark place. Emotionally and physically, she had been wrung out, but a delightful distraction swung by, allowing her to occupy her thoughts with work. The film that helped her cope with her fragile emotions was West Side Story in 1961, a movie adaptation of a musical of the same name. Her choreographer in The King and I, Jerome Robbins, was West Side Story's co-director, and he asked to audition for this film. She hungrily auditioned for the role in person, did a screen test, acted in a scene, and danced. Her performances were so captivating that she got a great role for her efforts. Although that bit of happiness was soon snuffed out, as in another betrayal, her love broke her heart again. This time the deep cut deeper for Moreno. You would think she would be immune to the hurt, but Marlon's dalliance with Rita Terapia broke her. The sexy actress decided to end it all. Another woman firmly entwined with Brando's masculine frame destroyed what was left of her mental health. In reaction to her shattered mind, she chugged several sleeping pills into her mouth and swallowed them up. She craved eternal sleep. "I went to bed to die," the actress wrote in her book. But the good news is that she failed. Her intention was to kill this pathetic, sad, trod-upon Rita. But instead that sad Rita won an Oscar and a Golden Globe for her efforts in West Side Story. But this only gave temporary joy. The subsequent roles she got were unimpressive. She got Oscars from a typecast role with the usual skin-changing makeup, so filmmakers didn't feel the need to change what was already working. "No more," Moreno said. She downed tools in 1962, rejecting all the similar typecast roles studios offered her. She was going to do things her way or not at all. She put her career on the line, and she didn't care. After a long break, with no one coming to see her out, Moreno called an old flame, Marlon Brando. She asked for a role in his upcoming flick the night of the following day. He listened to her and gave her the role of his love interest in the film. Little did Moreno know Marlon still desired her, and he made a move on her. He shouldn't have bothered. Moreno was married and had a beautiful daughter. Apart from that, she had grown and wasn't the woman he dated. She now radiated an unprecedented level of strength. But old feelings don't just disappear like that. Soon Moreno would display and act on her repressed feelings. In a scene where she had to slap Moreno, all her frustrations and pain from their time together bubbled onto the surface. The scene didn't go as planned, with the sexy actress rambling and Brando looking stunned. He didn't know how to react to what was happening and tried to make sense of the situation. The scene didn't go as planned, but what the two stars produced was better than the original. Of course, the director kept it. The film was a constant reminder of ugliness the sexy actress would want to forget, but she knew it was bound to happen. After all, she had promised her therapist not to see Marlon again. Brando wasn't about to give up and made repeated attempts to get the actress back, but she was resolute. She had decided to move on and chose herself and her family. Still, Brando would be in regular contact with her, but she never was the one to initiate the contact. She had outgrown him, and it stayed that way until he died in 2004. Although part of her still yearned for Brando, it was a yearning she would never give life to. The sexy actress would then win a Grammy for her musical performance in the kids' show The Electric Company. This was followed by a Tony Award for a Broadway show, The Ritz. Then she got the icing on her admirable career for her acting chops in The Muppet Show. She got an Emmy Award, becoming part of the few people who have won the EGOT, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar and Tony Awards. Rita also got national recognition twice. She got the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2004 and the National Medal of Arts in 2010. Still, what many people would know her for would be her strength of character and how she inspired diversity in Hollywood. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new here, and if you want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. Often you can find a broken soul behind the image of sexy Hollywood actresses. Why Elizabeth Taylor wasn't just a mean homewrecker. Watch this video.